The casualty report from Sector 9 hung in the air like a death sentence. 12 captains lost in a single month.
Enough. I can't stay silent. Not when I know the answer.
What's this? The junior scout thinks he has something to say.
Sector 9 isn't a death zone because the Titans are special. It's because every officer enters with ODM gear.
Explain.
The gear's gas propellant makes a specific sound frequency. The Titans in Sector 9 are attuned to attack anything emitting that sound.
Ridiculous. You think sound alone kills captains? What's next? Will you walk in and ask nicely?
Are you volunteering, Scout Wayno?
Yes, I'll enter Sector 9 on foot, without ODM. Give me a chance to prove it.
Commander Hayashi's cold gaze met Daichi's. Approved. You are expendable. Hours later, Daichi stood before the glowing forbidden sign, the wind whispering through the ruins. Daichi took a single step past the glowing sign, into the death zone where no captain had survived. Two 15-meter Titans stood motionless, their hollow gazes fixed on some distant point. They did not move as he passed between them. In the heart of the ruins, Daichi knelt beside a fallen scout. Bones picked clean, a tarnished captain's insignia glinted in the dust. He walked back through the gate, the small insignia tucked into his palm. The officers waiting in the clearing stared as if seeing a ghost.
Impossible. He must have cheated somehow.
Commander Hayashi summoned Daichi to his office. The door clicked shut, sealing them inside.
Your report will be classified immediately. You will speak of this to no one.
Daichi sat in his quarters, the classified file stamped with his own mission details. Survival was a crime now.
They're burying it. All of it. But why?
The truth of Sector 9 was once again locked away, and Daichi Ueno had become the only living witness. 3 days later, Commander Hayashi summoned Daichi to his office once more. A new classified folder waited on the desk.
You will enter Sector 9 alone and recover the remains of past expeditions. A researcher will assist from the surface.
At a checkpoint outside the walls, a young woman in a white lab coat waited, her expression hard.
I am Wakana Tachibana. My father was a captain, lost in Sector 9. I am here to bring him home.
Then you understand what's at stake. Don't make noise. Don't run. Follow my steps exactly.
They entered the silence of Sector 9. The Titans stood like statues, their eyes sliding past him without recognition.
He really walks past them like they're nothing. The rumors were true.
Daichi knelt by a scattered skeleton, lifting a rusted badge. Wakana bagged it, her hand steady despite the tremor in her breath.
One day, I'll find your name, Father. I swear it.
They returned to the checkpoint in silence. Wakana's face held a new fragility, but her eyes never left the bag of bones. The weeks bled into months. Daichi brought back dozens of remains, each one a silent accusation he catalogued in the cramped underground room. One afternoon, his fingers brushed against a half-buried journal in the rubble. A diagram survived, a jagged line labeled frequency spike.
Every victim I've identified was a captain. And they all carried the same new model ODM gear with the high-pitched gas valve. The sound would echo off the tall ruins at the sector's center. That's where they died, every time. Look at the kill clusters on this map. All concentrated near the central plaza. The echo pattern fits perfectly.
Someone engineered this. The Titans didn't develop a taste for ODM sound on their own. This was designed.
They exchanged a long look. The theory was monstrous, but every recovered bone and broken insignia now seemed to confirm it.
If Command is hiding this, then we're not just recovering graves. We're digging up a secret someone wants to keep buried.
They continued the retrievals, but now every recovered badge felt like an indictment. The dead were not silent anymore. Sector 9 had given them a pattern, but the answers remained buried. Somewhere deep in the rubble, the truth was waiting. Daichi dug deeper into the ruins, unearthing a rusted metal box covered in old script. The lock crumbled at his touch. Inside lay sheets of yellowed schematics. Bold letters at the top read, "Frequency key, ODM harmonics.
I've secured a decommissioned Titan. Let's end this theory, one way or another.
They rigged a speaker to broadcast the exact high-pitched hiss of ODM gas jets. The moment the sound echoed, the Titan lunged against its restraints, jaws snapping. Pure aggression. Silence fell. The Titan slumped, docile. Daichi replayed the sound. The Titan snapped again.
It's a death signal. Every officer wearing active ODM in Sector 9 is broadcasting a target.
The echo patterns we mapped, it all fits. This was never a natural phenomenon.
Daichi packed the schematics and recordings into a hidden compartment. If Command knew, they would destroy it all. They now held proof, but proof was a weapon that could kill them. For now, only silence kept them safe. Captain Ishiguro had been watching. Daichi's frequent retrievals and quiet evasions grated against old instincts. Tonight, he decided to act.
Ueno, don't play dumb. What are you really finding in Sector 9? It's more than bones.
Captain, I follow orders. I recover remains and bring them back. That's all.
Command is watching. If you stumble, there will be no second chances. Remember that.
The next morning, Commander Hayashi summoned Daichi for a debriefing. It felt more like an interrogation.
Your reports are too sparse. I expect details. Is there anything you haven't logged?
Daichi returned to his quarters. A drawer was out of place. His room had been searched.
They're closing in. I have to move faster. No more caution. They're on to us. Tomorrow, I go deep into the central ruins. No more waiting.
Wakana nodded, understanding the risk. The time for hiding was over. That night, Wakana spread the recovered insignias across her desk. Each name was a captain. Each captain had a file.
They didn't just die because of the gear. Look at the timing. The deaths spiked whenever the Corps gained political influence. Every victim had publicly criticized the founding regime in the months before their assignment to Sector 9.
So it was deliberate. The founder turned Sector 9 into a weapon to silence his opposition. The Titans were just executioners.
The Titans were never the real killers. They were just the executioners in a century-long assassination program.
We have a pattern, but we need something from the era. A document that names the designer.
There's a mention in an old archive. A founder's cache hidden in Sector 9 before the wall was sealed.
Then that's our target. The cache must hold the original order. We find it, and Command cannot deny the truth.
They planned the search for the following night. If Command intercepted them now, they'd be buried in an unmarked grave themselves. Daichi placed the frequency key schematics into the hidden compartment. Tomorrow, they would unearth something far more dangerous. The next morning, Daichi walked into Sector 9 alone. Wakana waited at the gate, a silent sentinel. He navigated to a collapsed pre-wall structure and slipped through a rusted door into a dark basement. Inside, several sealed chests lined the wall. Daichi chose the smallest and slipped it into his pack. He emerged at the checkpoint, passing the weight of the chest into Wakana's waiting hands. She asked no questions. That night, Commander Hayashi's summons came. The office door clicked shut behind Daichi with finality.
Some areas of Sector 9 are best left buried. A wise scout knows when to stop digging.
He knows what I found. If I take one wrong step, I become the next casualty.
Hayashi dismissed him with a wave. Daichi walked out, his heart pounding but his resolve hardening. In his underground storage, Daichi placed the sealed chest in a hidden corner. It felt heavier than anything he had ever carried. He knew now Command would kill to keep Sector 9 secret, and he was running out of time. Within hours, Daichi met Wakana at a deserted checkpoint. The sealed chest sat between them, unopened.
We can't wait for the chest. We need to put your survival method in every civilian's hands first.
If the public knows how to walk Sector 9 safely, Command can't silence us without raising questions.
That night, Daichi sat alone and drafted a guide. He titled it, How to Walk Sector 9, and added simple drawings. He folded the pages and slipped out into the darkness. At the barracks, a young scout took the packet without a word. The messenger distributed copies to local presses and bulletin boards while the city still slept. By morning, copies of the guide were pinned to every bulletin board in the city. Word began to spread like fire.
Once they see it, they'll know it works. We just bought ourselves time.
Now we wait and hope the truth spreads faster than Hayashi's blade.
They braced for the inevitable storm. The chest remained unopened, but its weight grew heavier by the hour. That evening, in the quiet of the research room, Daichi and Wakana turned to the sealed chest. The lock snapped under his pry bar. Inside lay a thick, leather-bound ledger, its pages brittle with age but the ink still dark. The founding king's personal seal was stamped on the cover.
The handwriting alone, it's his. The founder's own chronicle.
Year 2 of the Wall. Tuned Titans in Sector 9 to respond to ODM harmonics. Any captain entering with active gear is to be eliminated.
Pages followed, each a roster of the dead. Dozens of captains, their names crossed out. The list spanned decades.
Here. Captain Tachibana. Eliminated. They crossed out my father's name.
Wakana's hand fell away. Daichi reached out, steadying the page, but the weight of the truth was already crushing them.
This is a death warrant signed by the founder. Sector 9 was a slaughterhouse for his political enemies.
He closed the ledger with trembling hands. The proof was absolute. Now they had to survive long enough to use it. Outside, the city buzzed with the first whispers of his guide. Inside, the truth of 2 centuries sat heavy in a single book. In the frozen moment after closing the ledger, Daichi and Wakana faced the same unspoken question: how to unleash this truth without being silenced first.
We need to bring this to the courts. Authentication first. Without that, they'll call it a forgery.
There's no time for courts. The guide is already out. In days, people will try the walk. When they succeed, Sector 9 opens. I'll put my name on every copy. If they know a scout walked out alive, they'll believe. I'll make them believe.
Before dawn, Daichi posted a new guide on the city's central board. At the bottom, signed in bold hand, Scout Daichi Ueno, survivor of Sector 9. By midday, the square flooded with people. Scouts read the guide aloud. The simple instructions spread from mouth to mouth. Small groups of scouts began removing their gear outside the gate. The fear was still there, but so was a desperate hope. That night, Daichi slipped a thick envelope into Wakana's hands. Inside, photographed pages of the ledger. All the evidence.
If I am arrested tomorrow, you know what to do. Send this to every historian, every press. Don't let them bury the dead again.
Wakana nodded, tears welling but not falling. The ledger was now a weapon, and they had just armed the world. The first scout squad walked into Sector 9 without gear. They returned with bones and a new kind of fire in their eyes. From the gate, word spread like a flood. The city buzzed with the impossible truth.
Who authorized this? Who spread that guide?
It was Daichi Ueno. He posted his signature on every board. He defied your orders openly.
Issue a silent warrant. Treason against course secrecy. Bring him in quietly.
Daichi was warned by a sympathetic officer minutes before the MPs moved. He slipped into the city's back alleys. By nightfall, Hayashi had turned the Corps into a hunting net. Daichi's face was on every briefing, but on the streets, a different message traveled. Civilians and junior scouts whispered his name like a shield.
They're hunting Daichi. Pass it on. Don't let them take him without a fight.
The noose tightened, but the city had already chosen its side. Daichi Ueno was no longer just a scout. 3 days later, MPs cornered Daichi in a warehouse district. But a crowd had already gathered, pressing against the cordon.
You want to arrest me? Fine. But do it in public. Let the people see what you are hiding.
As you wish. A public interrogation will only prove your guilt.
An hour later, they dragged a captured Titan into the square. Daichi climbed onto a crate, holding a speaker wired to a recording device. He played the hissing shriek of ODM gas jets. The Titan lunged against its shackles, jaws snapping at the empty air.
Sector 9 is keyed to exactly this sound. Every scout who entered with active gear was broadcasting their own death sentence.
Theatrics. A frightened beast reacts to any loud noise. This proves nothing.
But the crowd had seen enough. They roared, drowning Hayashi's denial under a wave of fury and hope. Captain Ishiguro, standing at the edge of the square, watched with something unreadable flickering behind his usual scowl. For the first time, Daichi had forced Hayashi onto the defensive, and the city itself had become his shield. In the quiet archive, Wakana handed the photographed pages to an old historian. His eyes scanned the ancient script. He compared every character to founder documents. Finally, he set down his loop and gave a slow nod. Authentic. By dawn, the news outlet ran the story. The headline screamed, Sector 9, Assassination Zone. Founder's ledger reveals mass murder. Crowds filled the squares, clutching copies of the special edition. The truth was finally public. MPs stormed the presses, but thousands of copies had already circulated. It was too late. Commander Hayashi sat in his office. The newspaper spread before him. The telephone rang off the hook. His face turned ashen. The conspiracy he had protected for decades was now exposed. Outside, a chant rose, Ueno, Ueno. The city had found its voice. Wakana stood at the edge of a crowd, clutching the envelope. She saw the change sweep through the streets.
He kept his promise. Now the world can see the truth.
Within days, sanctioned recovery teams entered Sector 9 on foot. The gates no longer held fear, only reverence. They unearthed rows of skeletons, each marked by a scout insignia. The scale of the atrocity became visible to the world. Wakana worked among the volunteers, Daichi a constant shadow at her side, his quiet presence a steady anchor.
I know this locket. I gave it to my father the day he left for Sector 9.
She pulled a tarnished silver locket from the soil, its chain broken, the catch crusted with old blood.
You held this until the end, didn't you? You were never coming home.
She collapsed against Daichi, the locket pressed to her chest. He held her steady, his own eyes glistening. By evening, a temporary memorial stood at the site. Rows of wooden stakes bore the names of the recovered.
They're no longer unmarked. They're no longer forgotten.
The nation mourned. Sector 9 had become a grave, but at least the dead were no longer lost. At the memorial, Hayashi marched at the head of a military police unit. He pointed a gloved finger at Daichi among the crowd.
Daichi Ueno, you are under arrest for treason. Stand down or face force.
Civilians, scouts, and families of the dead surged forward, forming a human wall between Hayashi and his target. Captain Ishiguro pushed through the MPs. He stopped directly in front of Hayashi and unbuckled his ODM harness.
This gear is what you used to kill my comrades. I won't wear it anymore.
He threw the harness to the ground and stepped to Daichi's side. Gasps rippled through the crowd. One by one, other scouts unbuckled their gear and let it fall. The sound of metal hitting stone echoed.
You will all face consequences. This is insubordination.
The crowd only pressed closer, their shouts drowning his words. Hayashi realized he had lost the core. He retreated, leaving his authority shattered on the ground. Daichi stood untouched, shielded by the people he had freed. A special tribunal convened within the week. Commander Hayashi stood in the defendant's box, stripped of his command coat. Prosecutors laid out the ancient ledger, Daichi's test data, and the map of victim clusters. The evidence was overwhelming.
I acted to preserve order. Those captains threatened the kingdom's stability.
The judges remained unmoved. The ledger's words were final. Daichi Ueno took the stand, the ledger open in his hands. The courtroom fell silent.
Year 9 of the wall. Let ODM carrying officers enter. None shall return. The frequency trigger is calibrated.
Gasps echoed through the chamber. On the public screens outside, Thousands watched the testimony. Wakana pressed a hand to her mouth. The verdict was swift. Guilty of crimes against humanity. Stripped of rank and imprisoned for life, Hayashi's cold mask finally cracked. He was dragged from the box, his legs buckling under the weight of 2 centuries of lies. For the first time in history, the founder's assassination program was officially condemned. The dead had their verdict at last. In the verdict's wake, Daichi led the largest recovery operation Sector 9 had ever seen. They pushed into the deepest ruins, guided by old maps and the silence of titans now rendered harmless. In a collapsed crypt beneath the central plaza, they found the last unmarked grave. 12 skeletons in careful alignment. Each was lifted with ceremony, placed into a polished casket draped with the core insignia. A procession carried them out through the gate, the glowing sign now repainted, Sector 9, no longer forbidden.
You are home.
The city fell silent. For 1 full minute, only the wind moved through the reclaimed ruins. Wakana watched from the crowd, tears tracing clean lines through the dust on her cheeks. Permanent plans were announced, a memorial park where grass would grow, and the names of the fallen would be etched in stone. The dead were no longer prisoners of Sector 9. They were finally home. The state funeral for Captain Tachibana was held under a gray sky. Full military honors, a folded uniform, rested on the casket.
My father believed the Corps existed to protect. He would have exposed this crime himself if he had lived.
She paused, gathering the strength that had carried her through years of unanswered questions.
Daichi Ueno walked where no one else could. He brought my father home. You gave me back my father's memory. Thank you.
Daichi bowed his head, a rare tear tracing a path down his cheek. After the ceremony, Wakana found him alone near the freshly engraved memorial stone.
It's over.
He held her without words. The battle for Sector 9 was won, and together they had finally laid its ghosts to rest. The father-daughter arc closed under that gray sky, softened by the warmth of a promise kept. The Scout Corps held a grand ceremony to award Daichi its highest commendation for bravery. He stood on stage, the medal glinting. He looked past the dignitaries to the front row where Wakana sat, her smile steady but her eyes glistening. Daichi reached up and unclipped the medal from his chest.
I walked because no one else would. I don't need a medal to know it was right.
The auditorium fell into stunned silence. Then, a single clap became a roaring wave of applause. He handed the medal back to the stunned official and nodded once to Captain Ishiguro in the front row. Ishiguro gave a slow, approving nod, the closest thing to a salute he would ever offer. Daichi left the stage, walking out into the sunlight that spilled through the hall's open doors. He moved through the city with no medal, no rank, just a simple olive uniform and the calm of a man who had done his duty. The heroism he had redefined could not be pinned to a chest. It was in the act itself, the walk that no one else would take. Months later, Daichi walked alone through the transformed memorial park. The titans were gone, and new grass softened the ancient scars. Young cherry trees lined the path, each one planted for a recovered soul. White petals drifted in the breeze. He stopped before a modest stone marker. The name on it was etched deep, Captain Tachibana. He knelt and placed a single white lily against the cold stone.
Your daughter is safe. Rest easy, Captain.
He straightened, letting the silence settle. The past no longer pulled at him, it simply walked alongside. He continued down the stone path, the sun sinking low behind the newly built memorial wall. His olive uniform blended into the twilight. The lone scout who had walked into a death zone now walked out of history. Sector 9 had become a place of memory, not sorrow, and Daichi Ueno, the ordinary scout, had given it that peace. He did not look back. The dead were finally home, and so was he. That evening, Daichi returned to a small cottage on the edge of the city. Warm lamplight glowed through the curtained windows. Inside, Wakana waited with a steaming teapot, 2 cups already set.
Welcome home.
A framed photograph stood on the table. A group of captains, her father among them, young and proud.
Thank you for walking with me.
We walked together.
They raised their cups in a silent toast to the fallen, to the living, to a world that no longer needed to lose its captains. The camera pulled back from the cottage window, the conversation fading into the comfortable quiet of two people who had shared an unthinkable burden. Outside, the memorial park stood under a canopy of stars. The names on the wall were no longer a list of the missing. They were a constellation of the remembered, and inside the quiet cottage, an ordinary scout and a princess researcher held their peace,